Welcome to September 2024. It's been 2 months since I last did a garden tour update. Actually, I think it's been 2 months since I've literally done any sort of garden video. August and July in Florida are no joke. This marks today, September 4th, is the 3-year anniversary of us moving from Minnesota down to Florida. I've done a ton in this garden in that short amount of time. And actually right now, as I'm recording, it's 100 and plus feels like temperature. We are supposed to get rain soon. Let's go. Let's begin with a panoramic basically of the front yard. So we're starting on the front left and then walking across, and I will do my very best to do like a splice in from when I very first started planting that cocoa plum hedge. The beginning. First, well, actually, I guess I've had some other garden recordings, but official first launch of the garden. Now, my intention is to make it look like a cross between an English garden, a French garden, cottage garden, and then mixed with Florida tropical and native plants. Floor-tastic is what I've kind of coined both my inside the house style and I guess in essence, same thing with the front yard. So I'm standing centered, and as you can see, all the weeds have grown back on the center circle, but it is. On a positive side, the bush, the vine growing over that arch is looking phenomenal. That is the Carolina Jasmine. She is really coming into her own. I do have one planted here. Look at that to the left. The Confederate Jasmine is looking crazy. I have not done, clearly, a good job of tucking that in. But all in all, it's just, I'm pretty excited about it. I think sometimes on camera, it's looking a little bit, I guess, messy. I don't know. In person, yeah, I suppose it is a little bit messy, but it's starting to have that delineation that I'm wanting. Focus here as far as description. So the front here, the golden creeper has really filled in nicely. That is that little like green line you see. That's my first border wall to contain the crazy. It has grown, gosh, it's starting to connect, which is what it's supposed to do. Some spots, but it's doing pretty good. It's pretty new. Behind that is the pentas. Those are a Florida-friendly plant. And those, especially the ones over there, because that gets more of the rain. When I walk down there, it'll make more sense. When the rain comes off the driveway, those typically stay a little bit wetter. Behind that, those are like a miniature elephant ear. Definitely not a native, but I pulled those from the back, planted them here, and every once in a while they look good, and every once in a while they look bad. I have tried my best to stay up on the weeds. Like I said, July and August, no joke. It is so hot. I'll show you down there a project I did yesterday, and I about fainted. Like literally I had to sit down. I was seeing spots. But the plan is to still fill in a lot more in here. I do need more wood chips again. It's definitely looking pretty thin. And then as the rain comes, it pushes all the wood chips this direction because the yard slopes toward that stormwater drain. Here's the middle path. The dreaded torpedo grass is here. You got to come in. What I've been doing is trying to pull up the torpedo grass. I mow down the perennial peanut. That's the native ground cover with the little yellow flowers. And then I put my stones back, and it's been doing a really good job. Again, I just kind of have fallen behind a little bit there. That plant is either called a lizard's tail or a scorpion's tail. It's native. This is what it does. It gets massive. I have not done its like chop back in a little, actually, I don't think I've done it since the July video that I did. And it's huge. This direction, again, look at how good that golden creeper's coming in. I actually need to do some trimming on it. It's getting a little crazy. Fun fact that I didn't know when I bought it, but those tendrils, if they touch the ground, they root out. So I guess I could probably even like put those down and they'll root out. And then that's what I was saying about like the pentas there. They are getting a lot more water and they are a lot pinker. There's a volunteer Rudbeckia, black-eyed Susan, brown-eyed Susan. This side I'm behind on weeding the front part. This is the project I was referring to that about made me pass out. So I was out here yesterday and I used my weed hoe to get all the weeds. This right here, all this section was like worse than that. So I got rid of all of that, scooped a whole bunch of this like nice dirt over to there. I dug out a channel under, this looks sort of like a, gosh, it looks like a burial ground, doesn't it? It's not. Within the black tarp, I have more rocks, and then I covered up the rocks so that the dirt wouldn't get into the rocks, but that's looking really funny. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more on that. I didn't realize it until I looked at it in this camera, and it's very funny. Moving on. Anyway, my plan was, because this driveway does slope down, it becomes like from the street down to from the house. It really becomes like a water channel. So I'm trying to get it to like drain better. When I did go ahead and build up this whole middle section with the wood chips, it has caused some drainage issue, and I think it's just I've changed the slope inadvertently that goes towards that drain. So I'm just trying to figure out a way to still capture all that water, but also not have it become a lake, which is what it does on the driveway. Look at the floret, zinnias, and celosia. We are most definitely reaching, I think, the end of these plants' lives. I'm hesitant to pull them out because I kind of want to see what they do. Since they are bred up in Oregon, they basically are like an annual, and then you collect the seeds, and then over, next year you'd replant them. I'm wondering what they will do here, because we obviously 10B. I mean, we'll get cold sometimes, but we definitely, it's not like we're getting snow. So, oh, you can look at that. That's what's coming. See if I finish in time. So we've got the Dawn Creek Blush. We have the, every time when I'm out here, I can never remember, Victorian Wedding and Unicorn. Unicorn, I have mostly corals, peaches. You can see all kinds of pest pressure on the leaves. So they would really look pretty crappy. I've pulled some for seed. Right here, I'll be able to pull these ones that look dead. Those are getting ready to provide me with some delightful seed on the Victorian Wedding. So those were all like mauves, light lavender, and then the back ones were like a kind of a very light apricot color. You can look at the July video for when they were in full bloom. But I do want to do some seed collecting on those. And then the Dawn Creek Blushes, these are the ones that look to me kind of like fireworks, I guess is how I would describe them. And I also have collected some seeds from these. So you have the version that's like a single petal, and then the like very fireworky double ones. Not even like why I'm bringing them up. That's a weed. I gotta pull that. Look at that. It's so huge. Oh, this is a fun one. So I wish I had like more, I guess, Floridian native people that watched a video of mine. But this right here looks like I planted it. I have no idea what it is. I've done the Google reverse image search, and it keeps giving me plants that there's no possibility. It accidentally has been growing. It's now through my cloche. So if I keep it, it's basically like now attached forever. The base of it looks like a tree. I don't mind it, but it's definitely like 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet. It's getting really huge. So I'd love to figure out if this is a true weed, get it the heck out of here, or if it is going to be like a fun native something, and I can keep it because I don't mind the spot on it. This celosia has seen way better days, but look at the size of the base on this thing. I mean, it is huge, 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 huge. And I have a boat ton of seeds. I should maybe do a video on that for this guy. He's also, or she, I guess, raspberry lemonade is the variety. Tons of pressed pressure. It looks kind of cruddy, but it's basically as tall as me. Let's call it just under 5 feet here, and I'm about almost 5'7", 5'6.5", but who's counting? So again, I kind of want to just leave them to see what they do. Moving on, my neighbor gave me a Thai basil there, and then there's another one there. Let's come take a look down the path. The Schefflera, looking great. I think I mentioned in the previous video, learned that you can propagate these, and I had mentioned rooting them out. What I ended up doing was literally cutting a few of them off and just jamming them in the ground. They look unhappy right now, but I'm waiting to see if they take off, because that's what I did with like this Hawaiian tea. These ones are all offshoots of they were just jammed in the ground and then they rode up. So if that works, that's why these haven't been trimmed, to look like a cute little hedge, because I want to take all the tall chunks and use them over here, because this is the next section that I want to get cardboarded up and wood chipped up so that I can, do this to my next chunk over here. Got it? Got it. Since the last video, this lemon, I did do a major pruning on it. That lower limb is a little bit low for my liking, but that was the best one, and it made the most sense, with the shape of the lemon tree. I lost a pineapple. Oh, this was another day. Like, it took me so much work. It doesn't look like squat, but I went all the way around it with a shovel, jam, pulled up all the weeds. Same thing over by the olive tree. Went in and about flipping passed out. It was so hot. Over here, looking back this direction, the guava. So here's what we're kind of running into with Mr. Guava here. I'm not sure we like guavas. Every time I bring one in the house, it really doesn't get eaten. So it sits on the counter, and then it gets really pungent smelling, because when they're ripe, they're very strong smelling. And then nobody really eats them. I've tried a few of them, and they're like a gritty pear texture, and I'm not so sure I even love the flavor. So now I'm like, do I keep it? Do I get rid of it? It's starting to do its thing. It does put off fruit all the time. So if you look closely, here's one down here. Oh, I thought I saw a couple. Where was some more? There's some more somewhere on this thing. I don't know. I might just leave it for now, and then maybe it's an acquired taste. Got to pull out some of this perennial peanut. So it's perennial peanut. That's what I'm in the middle of here. I think I'm going to have a love-hate relationship with it. Same with the sunshine mimosa. It's doing what I wanted, which is spreading, because it's a native ground cover. What I'm a little nervous on is it has grown in extremely vigorously because it's wet season. I don't know what it's going to do in dry season, but for wet season, very vigorous, and it just wants to encumber everything. Everything. I don't know. Am I going to live to regret it? LOL. I just recorded a whole chunk talking about this section that I didn't actually hit record on. The rain is really coming in pretty quick here, so I don't know that we're going to get this done in one shot. More to come on that. Let's go over here and get moving. So we've got the muscadine grapevine. That's looking fantastic. I have a boat ton of weeds in here that I need to deal with. The coral honeysuckle in there that was dying before, mediocre at best. I'm contemplating taking these cannas and just cutting them all the way down, because I need to earn some vegetable garden spot. So in case you didn't know, my plan is to have a mixed, both native as well as my vegetable garden, all within this area here. And right now I got no room, nothing. So I think I'm gonna have to cut those down, and I don't know. Muscadine grape here, the coral honeysuckle on this side, still going great. The Confederate jasmine, look at that, it's just nuts. It's wild and crazy. I do have another vine growing in here, so I think the sweet potatoes are growing, which is kind of weird because I should have done so already this summer, but they didn't. And I think I have a little ginger growing. That's exciting, isn't it? I need to do some major tree work over here to this poor little cherry. Again, every time I try to say it, I pronounce it wrong. Yikes. Never had any fruit on this puppy either. So, I don't know. Over here, this is the start of another path. Clearly the weeds are winning. Same thing here, I haven't done any maintenance. Look at these poor pineapples are getting choked out. However, a success is the olive tree. So last you saw, I did a huge pruning, and look at it. It's just bouncing. It's just loving it. I did go ahead and put a stake in to try to correct the lean. Could actually have a little bit more. It's kind of pulled on itself since I put it in. This was another project that took like almost 2 hours because it's so much work to get all the weeds from down under. This is due for some more mulch, clearly. In the back over here, my attempt to keep this weed free, failing. I'm losing the battle. I'm losing the battle. But you know what? Let's divert our attention from sad face to the jasmine's growing up. Look at it. It's gonna do what it's supposed to do. We're very happy about that. So that'll create the trellis on those X's. The rose tree also looking amazing. It loves all the rain this time of year. And it's really started to put on some nice shape, rounding to it for the most part. I do come in and cut out the diseased stuff now and again, but it's looking very good. The muhly grass, I cut it a little bit late and it was looking real like hedgehog porcupine-like, but it is starting to look pretty again. This, in another month from now, will be filled with all these really pretty purple / hot pink little fronds on it. That's what's called purple muhly grass. It's my favorite part of that grass. Let's do a little pan. Oh yeah, getting the sprinkles. Starting. Feel like we're gonna need to end her now, or I'm gonna get, hit by lightning. Also, still have this here. It's been like 2 months. Isn't that ridiculous? It's kind of hard, right? Then you enter into the secret garden middle. Pretend like it's still weeded. I'm gonna grab my stuff and go in. Okay, let's end it on the storm coming in. It's not really a major storm, it's just the afternoon rains. Okay, thanks for watching. Cape Coral living.